Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Beautiful time for a drive. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, back in the Mini Cooper today, doing a little bit of I don't want to say range testing, hypermiling is probably a better way to word it. And it is Sunday morning, 6 a.m. and just absolutely beautiful out. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and traffic is very light right now, so it's a perfect time to do this. Okay, you can see down at the bottom that I've achieved 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour, and I've currently got 90 miles of range left. Now I'm going to go ahead and reset this. Let's see here. 81% battery, 90 miles of projected range left. So we'll hold and reset that. And trip odometer, well, we'll reset my average miles per hour as well. And there we go. And I'm going to set it for miles per kilowatt hour. All right, so let's dig in, see what we can get out of it. Also, I'm going to switch down to green plus. Green plus, there we go. States green plus on the dash. So, all right, let's do some hypermiling. Oh, also, you'll notice it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit, relatively chilly out. Really not perfect for this, but it is such light traffic that this is a good clear traffic day. I don't have to worry about a bunch of other cars on the road. So it's not perfect temperature, but it is ideal conditions for this. So what I want to do is hypermile the car just a touch and see what kind of range we can get out of it. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. I like to share my experience of living day to day with an EV. We actually own 3 EVs. For those that have been watching the channel, you're familiar with this, but if you're new, you may not be familiar with it. We have a 2014 Smart electric drive. That car has 30-some thousand miles on it, 35,000 miles at this point. 2018 Tesla Model 3. And then this car, which is a 2020 Mini Cooper SE electric. And this is Mini Cooper's first mass market electric car. They made a very short run of electric cars back in, was it 2009, I think? I don't remember exactly, but that was a lease-only car. I believe they only made 500 of them. I think only 50 of them were here in the States. I could be getting those numbers wrong, but this car is a standard Mini Cooper S 2-door hardtop that BMW Group Mini installed a BMW i3S drive system into. It is installed in the front as front-wheel drive car rather than in back like the i3 uses. And this car it's small, and being that it is just a square, it's small, so you would think it's efficient, but being that it's just a square box, it's the jury's out if it's really can be considered a super efficient car, being that it is a square, just a square vehicle moving down the road, a square shape. So today I want to do some hypermile testing. Now, yesterday I was doing acceleration testing, 0 to 60, which if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go back and watch it. But spoiler alert, the 0 to 60 time I was able to achieve several times was 6.3 seconds. It was very consistently 6.4 seconds, but if the car had good traction, I was achieving 6.3 seconds 0 to 60. That is a very, very good acceleration time, and this car was originally rated at 7.3 seconds, and then it was that was pre-production, and then when it was released initially it was 6.9 seconds rated, and again I was able to see 6.4 and even as low as 6.3 seconds several times, 0 to 60. And so it's quicker than they were initially quoting, and so let's see if the range is better than quoted. I am going to be doing basically hypermiling. I've got it set for green plus, so this is not necessarily the most practical method to drive in, but I want to see what you really can achieve. I have found that though this car is rated at 110 miles on a charge, it's actually much closer, I would say, to 125 miles, completely ignoring any form of hypermiling or efficient driving at all. Just driving it. 125 miles is not just doable, that's pretty much what you're going to get out of it. And but it does appear that that 140 miles is actually probably more realistic for casual driving, especially if you're not on the expressway at all. But I want to see if we can best that. So to that end, I am hypermiling the car today to see what we can get out of it. And what I'm doing is I'm minimizing acceleration. First, I have it set for green plus, which eliminates the use of climate control, which you can eliminate on your own, but just by not using the climate control. But it also softens the throttle response. And I am paying attention to the power consumption needle here, the power output needle, and I'm trying to keep it at 1 bar of acceleration or less. Now, for initial acceleration, especially if you have a car behind you, you're definitely going to need to give it a little bit more than that. But for the purposes of today's test, I am trying to minimize acceleration as much as possible, as well as speed. I want to try to keep it below 50 miles per hour. I'm going 49 right now on a 50 mile per hour road. Oh, we're at 50. And also, I think that that cruise control will probably be a valuable asset for this. So unless you're climbing a hill, at which point just keeping your foot at a consistent accelerator pedal distance seems to work very well. But anyway, I'll continue digging in and see what I can come up with as I just pile some miles on today. All right, well, I am currently, let's see, 17 miles in. I've been averaging 33 miles per hour. I am at 71% battery charge with a projected range of 82 miles left. But let's see here, 5.1 miles per kilowatt hour. And it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit out. Definitely not ideal for this test. 70 degrees would be perfect. So, but I'm just going to keep on driving and see where we arrive at. So I've seen 5.3 miles per kilowatt hour, but I've been actually increasing in elevation here. So so that's gone down a bit, but we'll continue driving and see where we end up at. But yeah, it's not hard to achieve 5 miles per kilowatt hour, even when the temperature is relatively cool. Also, I have to say that Green Plus is interesting. If you use the brake pedal, a little green icon shows up that just shows your foot up high on a pedal with an arrow, and I think it's teaching you, hey, don't necessarily use the brakes, but if possible, use the regen. Just lift your foot and use the regen. Also, the dead pedal area, which is the spot at which the accelerator pedal neither accelerates nor gives you regen, is much broader on Green Plus than it is on the other driving modes. So it's very, very easy to find that dead area where the car is just coasting, and that definitely makes coasting much, much easier. So just still plugging away at it to see what kind of efficiency I can get. All right, guys, so I wanted to show you where I'm at. I'm currently at 5.4 miles per kilowatt hour, shows 82 miles of range expected left on the clock. Let me scroll through here. Oh, it's currently still at 55 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see at the top of the screen there. So I've averaged 33.2 miles per hour. I've gone just shy of 24 miles, 67% state of charge currently. and 5.4 miles per kilowatt hour. So one of the things that I'd like to do next is to reset everything. So we'll reset the miles per kilowatt hour. And let's see here, we'll reset the miles per hour. And we'll reset the range. All right, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm in a neighborhood just outside of a road that is 50 miles per hour. It's about a mile and a half or so. And what I'm going to do is accelerate at 3 bars here, which is 30% acceleration, up to 50 miles per hour. And then I'm going to set the cruise control there till I get to the end of the road. I will use regen as much as I can to stop. I'll turn around, accelerate with 30% power up to 50 miles per hour, and repeat the process several times and see what we come up with. All right, so here we are after driving back and forth a bit and on a 50 mile per hour road. You can see I'm at 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour, still 55 degrees Fahrenheit out. Let's scroll through here and see we averaged 43 miles per hour. Of course, I'm at a dead stop right now, so it's dropping, but it was probably more like 45 averaged. 50 miles per hour on the traveling, and then obviously stopping and turning around. I went 9.6 miles, have 60% state of charge, so 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Not too bad considering. Oh, and I was accelerating at 30%, which is 3 bars on the gauge here, and then sustaining 50 miles per hour for a couple miles, then turn around, go back for a couple miles, and repeated the process. So that's about what you can expect just in normal driving as such throughout the day. All right, so in conclusion, I found that if you're very, very careful and you hypermile the car and you're only accelerating at about 20%, 10 to 20% power, and you maintain 30 some miles per hour, minimizing your stops, you can average 5.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, if you do the math, that works out to be 185 watt hours per mile, which is extremely efficient. That's about what you'll get out of a Model 3 with the high efficiency 18-inch wheels and tires. And then accelerating at 30% power, which would be just your average acceleration if you're running errands on a 50 mile per hour road, is 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. And if you do the math on that, it's 212 watt hours per mile, which again is also very, very good. That is about that's better than I get on my Model 3 with my 20-inch sticky tires on it. And that's one thing to remember. This particular car comes with sticky hand-cooked summer tires, and they're not eco tires. This car handles like it's on rails. It corners very aggressively. And my Tesla Model 3, which is a long-range rear-wheel drive car, with the 18-inch aero wheels and tires, I was averaging about 190 watt hours per mile in the summer. But with my 20-inch wheels with sticky Falcon summer tires on it, the car averages about 225, 230 watt hours per mile. So actually, the two cars are pretty comparable when you look at sticky tires. This car is actually more efficient than the Tesla. It is smaller and lighter, but it's also shaped like a box. I mean, this thing is not aerodynamic at all. And the overall diameter of the tires, when you increase the diameter of tires, you reduce how many revolutions per mile are required, and you generally will get better efficiency. This is why bicycles have larger and larger diameter wheels and tires. It's not just to smooth out the ride, which they do, but it's primarily because the larger the diameter, the more efficient that vehicle is for a given speed. Many people have criticized this car for being just a square steel unibody that is old in design and using a drive system that's 5 or 6 years old in design from the BMW i3S. that it's old body, old design drive system that weren't designed to carry each other and marry the two together, and you end up with this mishmash car which isn't good at anything. That couldn't be further from the truth. This car is proven today to be quite efficient. Could it be more efficient? Sure. Sure, if it were less boxy shaped and had a drive unit that was specifically designed for high efficiency. But for what it is, when you consider the fact that it's a composite vehicle, it's a drivetrain out of one car in the body that was designed for a different drivetrain. Neither the drivetrain nor the body are recent designs. But the drivetrain is, I mean, it's recent as far as overall automotive history. It's only a few years old, but the fact that it's a composite vehicle, that they just married a drivetrain from one car to the body from another to rush an EV to market, which is what a lot of people complain about this car being, it is actually quite an efficient car. It's also quick. My 0 to 60 time that I tested in yesterday's video was 6.3 seconds. Pretty quick car. It's reasonably priced. The base car is less than $30,000. And then there's federal incentives after that. This is the Signature Plus trim, which is $33,900. Very reasonably priced car for how efficient it is, how quick it is. And that range is, the efficiency is also good. This car is rated at 110 miles of range. But let's see here. Let's do the math. So let's see. This car has 28.9 kilowatt hours of usable energy. So, and you divide that by the 185 watt hours per mile that I got in careful driving, that's 156 miles of range. Now, if you divide that by 212 watt hours per mile, which is what I was getting just in that 50 miles per hour, which is not very efficient for an EV, you get 136 watt hours, or 136 miles of range. So, and I'll show you here, 28.9 kilowatt hours of battery divided by 212 watt hours per mile gives 136 mile range. And this is also at 55 degrees Fahrenheit. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit, those numbers would be, I don't want to say significantly better, but would be noticeably better, maybe 10% better. So I'll have to go ahead and repeat this test in 70, 75 degree weather to see what we can achieve out of the car at that point. But in conclusion, you guys already know that I love this car. I love all my cars, really. And a lot of that is because my wife and I research cars quite a bit before we go out and purchase them. Is this car for everybody? No. Is the Tesla for everybody? No. And don't fool yourself and think it is. Some people just can't afford it. Some people barely drive at all. An EV isn't really going to help them. Or maybe if they barely drive, get a used Nissan Leaf for $7,000. I mean, different vehicles fit different people's needs, and that's just one thing that I want to make clear in this video. No matter what car you choose, there are benefits and drawbacks to any vehicle you may purchase. So my advice is to shop for the vehicle that best suits your needs, your lifestyle, your family, your budget, and all of that. And hopefully that'll be an EV. That's the whole point to this channel. I thoroughly believe that electric vehicles are not just the future, but electric vehicles are, they're the best option. They really are. So, and with electric vehicles still not really in their infancy, but maybe in their toddler stage, we don't have enough EV options to cover everybody's needs or desires and everybody's budgets, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate you. And I'm really excited to see what this summer holds, especially as all the quarantine time begins to wane and people are out and about driving their cars more. I'm really excited to see more videos on all the upcoming EVs that are being released. What I'd like to do is I'd like to rent EVs on Turo one day at a time and test them for you guys, not just shooting videos on the cars that I personally own. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. And as always, stay charged. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.